Hey everybody, this podcast is brought to you by Audible. If you want to grab a free audiobook and support the podcast at the same time, you can do that by going to audibletrial.com/Courtney Diamond. I'm currently re-listening to Jump by Steve Harvey, which is a book about making big decisions to move towards doing what you actually love. You know, jumping off cliffs, getting in there, living life, right? But no matter what you're looking to download, grab it for free by going to audibletrial.com/Courtney Diamond. And I'll put that link in the description for you guys. Now, for this podcast, I sat down to chat with a guy who works as a notary for escrow, but also dabbles in the acting and modeling game. We talk about fitness, auditions, and the San Diego to LA commute, among other things. So with that, I hope you enjoy this conversation I had with my friend Colton Reiswitz. So what's your normal day like? What were you saying you do?
Ooh, I am a notary for escrow.
Notary for escrow. Mm-hmm. My parents are real estate agents.
Oh, okay. So they're very familiar with it.
Yeah.
So it's cool because I can make my own hours.
Dude, ideal, right?
It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I don't have to set my alarm unless I have an early morning appointment, obviously. So I try to avoid those if I can.
Absolutely.
But it's boring because it's paperwork.
Right.
Yeah, good and bad.
Do you feel like you're more of like a creative type of person? Is it hard to be behind like a desk?
Yeah, I can never do it a regular 9 to 5. I would go crazy. I've always known that too.
It's important to realize that about yourself as quickly as possible, I'd say.
Seriously, no, I've always known that, even like, you know, from first job to now, from high school or whatnot. It's just that I can't be at the same place for freaking 8 to 10 hours a day. And you get up at like 6 o'clock, go to work by 8, get home by 5, watch TV, and go to sleep and do it all again the next day. It's like, I can't do that. I don't know how people do that. I mean, more power to them, I guess, but
it can be hard. Yeah. It can be hard. And it's hard to transition your head out of like, you go to work for that amount of time. It's almost like when you get home, you have to detox out of that mindset a little bit.
Exactly.
And I think that's why people kind of dive into the TV and you just like
zone out. And
you just have to do this like exhale of getting yourself out of that space to do whatever else you want to do.
Yeah.
People that super, super love their jobs and it's exactly what they want to do with their lives perfectly and they like having an exact 9 to 5 schedule. Yeah, maybe it's great for them. They don't have to do that decompress. But I feel like a lot of people definitely do. Now, the last time we met, I think you were talking about preparing to do this modeling thing.
I was doing more acting back then.
Oh, were you going back and forth from LA a lot?
Yes, I was for auditions.
Yeah.
But modeling's fairly new to me. I've been doing it for about a year now, and it's already picking up a lot of steam, which is nice. Apparently, I'm already on like 4 romance novels.
How does that work? Explain this whole business to me. Do you go and you just do a photo shoot, and then somebody picks up these photos and uses it for a romance novel?
Or in the short answer, yes. But the agency I'm with, Zinc Model Management, they have a lot of contacts with authors. So basically, when I go see them, when we do photo shoots, they take a bunch of pictures of me, in all different poses and whatnot. And then their authors that they know, they go through their files, I guess, and try to figure out what looks they like for different models. The authors can buy the photos, and then that's how I get paid.
Gotcha.
Through that agency.
Very nice. So how was the acting going with going back and forth? Doing the San Diego to LA journeys?
I hate driving to LA.
Who doesn't?
It's funny, when I first started doing it, I'm like, yeah, going to LA, got an audition. And then like the 4th time, I'm like, damn, going to LA, got an audition. Shit, I don't want to go.
Yeah. It depends the time you go, for sure. You got to get the right time.
Yeah,
I'm ready for them to build that
that bullet train.
Yeah.
Seriously. Because I would have auditions at Friday at 5 o'clock in LA. I'm like, are you serious?
No, it's gross. You have to go really early then to try to skip. Because I'd rather get up there really early. Not really early, but earlier than I need to be there if I can make it a 2-hour and 15-minute drive.
Yeah.
Rather than one time it took 5 hours for me to get from San Diego to LA.
Oh my God.
It's the most disgusting thing I've ever experienced. I was like, how is this possible? How is this possible? When I drive back from LA, because I go to LA a lot, when I drive back from LA, I'm always driving back at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Because it only takes an hour and 40 minutes to get from like sunset to my front door.
That's not bad at all.
You know?
Well, shit,
totally,
what are you
completely
doing,
going the speed limit.
Completely set
There's no
65.
there's like no one on the road though, which is really great.
Yes.
Just pumping coffee into my system at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. No, I remember I was coming back from a gig I did. I was like 11:30 at night, and I got back in like an hour and a half. It was crazy. Well, obviously I was speeding, but I felt like I was doing the speed limit. There's just nobody on the road.
Well, that's the thing is when you're not comparing yourself to other people, you can't tell how fast you're going.
That's true. Until you look down at your speedometer.
And you say, oh my goodness.
Or see the flashing lights behind you.
Say, oh my goodness. Yep. So what were you going up to LA to audition for? What kind of stuff? What made you want to get into the acting?
That's actually a good question. Back in 2007, 2008, when the market crashed, my mom, she was in the real estate business. She was an escrow officer, and she got let go from her job, as did a lot of people. So we turned from a 2-family income to a 1-family income. You know, we do vacations every year. We'd go on cruises, and all that ceased to exist. We'd end up going to the store, and she'd be at some points, no, sorry, honey, you can't buy this thing because, you know, got to watch money. Money's tight right now. And I just remember thinking to myself, I'd never want to have to go through that. Mm-hmm. And I know acting, obviously, these actors, they make a lot of money. Obviously did it for the wrong reasons, but it's a business. The whole point of a business is to make money. And I was watching a movie one time in the movie bloopers, and all these actors were just having so much fun on set. And I wanted a job where you can just have a lot of fun and make a lot of money. I'm like, oh, hey, acting, you know, I can make a lot of money, have fun, take care of my family so they never have to work again. And so that kind of what drove me to it.
Did you like it?
Yes and no. You know, I like being on set. I like working. I like meeting all the people. But I never liked the process of having to memorize lines. Seriously, it's just so tedious. It's so boring. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do to memorize it easier, but it's like I didn't like it.
Yeah. Wasn't quite right for you.
It wasn't quite, it just wasn't clicking with me.
Sure.
But, you know, that's where modeling, that's actually clicking with me. I actually really enjoyed it. I love being in front of the camera, which is weird because if you were to know me, like on the street, I'm actually a shy person. But it's like, I guess when I'm in front of the camera, you know, it's my work mode, different person.
Yeah. Brings out a different side of you.
Exactly. Work personality.
For sure, right?
I'm getting paid, so, you know, I got to be social.
Well, I always say, like, I'm a shy person.
Yeah. A lot of people are.
I'm a shy person, but, like, there's certain things that you can tell bring me out of my shell a little bit. And I'm pretty convinced that when people are doing things that they feel more passionate about or there's something about it they enjoy, that you see them a little bit more.
Exactly.
They open up and you can see whatever personality is underneath the shyness, which is just, you know, that little bit of discomfort that you have. So was it easy to transition from the acting to the modeling? Did that come very natural?
It did.
Did you have an agent before for the acting?
Yeah, I did for the acting. Shaman Freitas down here in San Diego. I just did a gig for them last month. So, you know, I work with them once in a while, still do some acting stuff, but now I'm trying to move over to the modeling side of things.
Okay. Well, if I ever write a romance novel.
Hey, you got my number.
I'll get right into that.
There you go.
That's hilarious. Okay, so you're obviously very fit.
Wasn't always the case.
So this is the process that you had to go through to get to this point.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that journey.
Okay. Freshman year high school. What are freshmen? Like 14 years old? Mm-hmm. Okay, so 14 years old, I was about, I'm 6 foot now. So I was about 5'7", 245 pounds, 40-inch waist. So I was a big guy. I lost 80 pounds.
How'd you do that?
Diet and exercise.
The classic?
The classic. There's no secret. Mm-hmm. Secret is hard work. That's it. I picked up a copy of Muscle and Fitness, and there was this fitness model on there, and just, you know, obviously a guy's great shape, you know, abs and chest and everything. So I'm like, you know, I want that to be me one day. I want to be, you know, in great shape. I want to be on the cover of this magazine. Still haven't done that. Still a goal, by the way. But ever since then, I just started working out and eating healthy and putting in the hours. I remember before school, in high school, I would get up early in the morning, probably like 5 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym, do my cardio, come home, eat, get ready for school, go to school. After school, go to the gym again, do weights, come home, homework, eat dinner, family, whatever, and do it all again. And that was my life in high school. I didn't go out, I didn't party, I didn't, you know, smoke, drink, anything like that. All my friends did. So my social life was maybe 2-3 friends and the gym.
Yeah, it suffers a little bit when you make big lifestyle changes like that.
But I think it's paying off in the long run.
Absolutely. The long-term investment.
Exactly.
I get nervous sometimes that with this instant gratification culture, it's happening to the people that are younger, and like, are they going to want to put in the time or just play the long game? Is that going to be harder for them?
Yeah.
As far as reaching goals. I remember this is a hilarious connection. I remember playing video games when I was really young. Mm-hmm. Okay. So say I was 8 years old, something like that. I was like playing Donkey Kong Country. Now, old school games are hard. Original Marios, the Donkey Kongs, all that kind of stuff.
Pac-Man, I can't even get past first level.
Right. But there's not as many checkpoints. And then so if you screw up, you die, you start at the beginning. And so getting past certain things takes a lot longer. You have to play levels over and over and over again. Whereas games these days, there's tons of checkpoints. You're always being saved.
Start, save, done.
It's always auto-saving for you. And so you don't really have as much repetition because our attention spans have gotten shorter. When I think back to playing those other types of games, when I was younger, I could play the same level for hours and hours and hours and hours because I was determined to get through it. I was determined to beat it, and I was having fun doing it because I had an attention span that was very just effective and patient.
Exactly.
And now, these days, I tried playing like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, which is a newer Donkey Kong game, and it's still pretty hard. It's challenging in certain things, especially if you're trying to collect everything. Oh my gosh, I lost patience after, 2 tries? And I had to turn it off. I tried playing Crash Bandicoot. I did the same thing.
Oh, I love Crash.
I love Crash Bandicoot too, but I played it. I died twice, and I could feel this like surge of impatience. And I was like, look how much I've changed since back then, because I'm accustomed now to things that come easily.
Yeah, that's so true. I never thought about that.
Right?
Yeah.
It scares me, though. It scares me to see how much my own impatience has kicked in.
It makes me think. The game I'm playing now, Kingdom Come, you can't just autosave any time. If you wanna save it, you either have to find a bed and go to sleep, or you have to drink these things called savior schnapps, which also make you drunk in the process.
Savior schnapps?
Savior schnapps. It's like a beer, like in the game.
Somebody make an actual alcohol called that.
It's pretty awesome. Right? But it saves your game, and you don't have an infinite amount of them. Like, you can either make them or you can go buy them, and those are the only 2 ways to save your game, or just coming to an important part of the game.
That's pretty cool.
So now that I think about it, what you mentioned, I'm like, oh, but I've always been kind of impatient. Thanks, Mom, for that.
Blaming on Mom.
Instant gratification. No, but also has to do with their social media. That's everything nowadays, too. It's the highlight reel of people's lives. They never post anything bad on there. It's just always, look at me and look how great I'm doing, It's, oh, hey, I'm here with this such and such celebrity, I'm having time of my life. But you don't see the 6 days prior where they're sitting on their couch eating pizza, watching Simpsons, and
like sad and insecure
Exactly.
the rest of the time. Yeah,
exactly. Like the rest of us.
We all go. We all go in and out of those phases.
Yeah,
it's funny too. I was having that kind of a thought experiment, and I was like, okay, so obviously these are all highlight reels. Mine is, of course, most of the time too. But I was like, okay, well, if I'm really bummed, is it weird when I post that? What kind of a picture am I going to post? Am I going to post a posed picture of me looking sad and then put a caption?
Exactly. Hashtag sad.
What? That doesn't seem right either. So I feel like it's just in those times, that's where people just seem to just disappear. Yeah. Or unless you're the angsty person that does the post that's
just very vague.
Can't believe that happened. So depressed. And it's just waiting for people to ask.
Exactly. And it's like somebody responds. She's like, oh, just DM me.
Yeah.
It's like, no, why don't you just tell us what you want? Or, I don't, those things I don't even respond to. I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time with this.
I would hope if you are legitimately sad about something and depressed, you reach out to individuals.
Exactly.
You don't, to people that care about you, not to just the general internet world.
Yes. Don't post your problems on social media, people.
So your instigating moment for getting fit was just this magazine? Was there anything else?
Yeah, I got tired of not getting the attention from girls.
Right, the ultimate of instigators for men.
Seriously, no. At this time,
at 14 and an awkward
time in life, hormones are going like crazy, and I'm getting turned down left and right from these girls, and it's not helping my self-esteem. Still have issues, by the way. Thanks, women. But
you have issues now with women?
Oh God,
Stop.
Yes, I do. I do. I swear.
Well, that's this weird thing where people think that they look at a person that's attractive or fit and they go, oh, well, their love life is perfect then.
Which is not the case.
Well, they've found exactly who they want. They have no issues in the dating realm. And it's not true.
It's so not true.
It's not true, right?
My love life is non-existent.
Yeah, it's hard. Are you online dating?
No. Yeah, no. Once in a while I'll go, if I'm really bored, I'm like, yeah, let me just scroll through Bumble, see what's here.
I know.
But I think a lot of their profiles are fake.
Really?
Because I'll match with some people, but they'll never reach out. And I'm like, do they not realize that the women need to make the first move on Bumble? So
yeah.
I'm just waiting. Okay, so I'm tired of this.
Do you know what the problem is, too? Is exactly what you said. people get bored and they start scrolling. And you scroll and you may match with a bunch of people and then just you forget about it. And so people don't even return to it to like actually reach out.
Exactly.
To somebody. And that's the problem. I think the dating apps could be effective if people like use them for the right reasons.
Exactly.
And had intent behind it. But we kind of use them very like, well, I'm bored. Let me just match with 15 people really quick and then never talk to anybody. And the flake culture.
I'm waiting for my water to boil to make pasta. Let me just scroll through Bumble and...
Sure. So you're not putting any real time into caring about the person that you're trying to match with. So, okay, so if you're not online dating, how do you find people now?
I don't find people.
Yeah. Oh, you're like me. Okay, great.
I'm a hermit now.
Yeah.
I find people through work, I guess, if I find people at all. I don't know. Life's funny. I don't plan for anything anymore. It's just, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the most random spot ever, like at the grocery store or like going to get gas at the gas station. Just something completely weird.
Yeah.
Like this last person I was seeing, it just happened completely random. We were both out and about, and we were both in line to use the bathroom. I just started talking to her. I just felt the compelled need to talk to this woman next to me who I found very attractive. So I started it, and we dated for a few months. And it's just completely out of the blue. Wasn't planning on it that night.
Yeah, I think that's how it's supposed to happen.
That is how it's supposed to happen. I call that fate.
It's supposed to happen that way.
I prefer that way.
It's better.
It is.
It's better because I've always said with the dating apps, it's like you look good in a profile and everybody can look good on paper and you'd be like, oh my God, we have so many things in common. And you get in person and you're just like, it's not an indicator there's going to be chemistry.
Exactly.
Because it's something different. So it's like if you're running to somebody in the line to the bathroom, but you could feel some sort of chemistry with them in some way that you felt the need to talk to them.
It was weird. I felt the need to talk to this person, and I rarely feel that. So, it was like, it was like the inner voice, say hi, tell her she's pretty, and just, of course, this was after a few drinks, so I was like,
that helps,
yeah,
right?
sure. I'll say whatever. The worst hangover the next day, though.
Uh-oh. I don't get them very often anymore.
I don't drink as often as anymore.
I'm a regular drinker, but I'm not a drinker to excess.
Okay.
I'm like a person that'll come home from work, like I'll have a glass of wine, or I'll do, you do podcasts and we end up drinking whiskey.
Hey, it's Friday.
You know what I mean? But not, like I'm not drunk very often ever. I'm
probably there too. I remember last year, like the last couple of months of last year, I was going out like every night.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. I didn't want to be home. I didn't want to be by myself. I just wanted to go out. I wanted to have a good time. But now it's like, maybe one drink a week now.
Yeah.
Slowed down a lot. I feel like I'm an old man.
Why didn't you want to be by yourself?
I don't know. I was depressed back then.
It's hard.
It is hard. Life's funny.
It is funny.
And you learn more about yourself, and you're like, oh, you know what? Everything's a blessing in disguise.
Everything is. I like to believe the principle of everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. And people will dispute that with you, and they'll be like, no, life is chaos. And I'm like, okay, well, say it is. Say it is chaos, and say this is all just random nonsense happening. Here's what I know. If I choose to believe the mindset of everything happens for a reason, and I take life in a flow, right? Mm-hmm. And I just kind of accept everything as it happens, and things that I can't control. And I go, okay, that happens. It sucks. You go through it. What I do know is as time passes, if I look back at all of the events that happened and how I reacted to them and to the point I am now, somehow, even events that I considered negative led to better things.
Yes. I'll agree to that.
So in that sense, I can say everything happens for a reason, because even when something sucky happens, it's almost like, okay, well, that wasn't for me. Whatever that was, it wasn't for me. I either learn from it, it changes my path a little bit, maybe it pushes me to do something else, maybe I learn something about myself, because I think part of tackling this life thing has to be just, how do we get to know ourselves?
It's all life lessons.
How do we get to know who we are?
Yeah.
In a real way, which is alone time is good for that.
It is.
I always encourage people. I'm like, be alone sometimes.
Go do
you can have friends,
stuff,
but be alone, because it's important to hear your own brain.
Seriously, go do stuff alone. So many people are afraid to do stuff alone by themselves. It's just like,
they think they're going to be judged. I'm like, nobody's looking at you.
You know what? I dare you to go to a movie by yourself if you've never been. That is the best thing ever. Because many people are like, I don't think I can go to a movie by myself. It's like, you're not talking during the movie anyway.
No, and it's almost like people think other people are judging them.
Exactly.
If you walk in. Ain't nobody. How self-obsessed are we these days? Nobody's
Social
judging
media.
you. Nobody's judging you. Nobody's thinking about you. Even if they glance at you and they, for some reason, thought that person's alone, they forgot about you about 2 seconds later.
Exactly. They're probably thinking, oh, I should have got the extra large popcorn, not the medium.
Yeah, it's really silly. It's really silly. So I felt going to a bar for the first time by myself, and I haven't really continued that because I'm not out very much. I'm kind of a hermit, but it's because I've given myself so many projects. So I come home, and if I have to write or if I have to podcast, it's seeing a person.
Yeah.
But for like an hour and a half.
Exactly.
It's pretty quick. Or I'm doing the Twitch thing now.
So you do Twitch?
I'm yeah, I do. I just started pretty recently. So that's fun because, I'm obsessed with video games.
Yep.
So it gives me a really good excuse to play video games. I will take it.
Even better.
I will totally take it. And it's a little bit social, but like I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very rarely out. So when people are talking about dating, it's like, well, I'm not out.
Yeah, you got to go out to meet people, but
I'm not really out in bars and stuff.
I don't feel the need to go out. It's like, sometimes I feel like going out and being social, but when I'm out and being social, I want to go home.
Yeah.
It's like, why am I here? Why am I wasting money? I should have just went to Chipotle and went home.
Yeah, you do that thing where you're like, I could have got a bottle of Jameson for $21.
Exactly. No.
But I just spent $13 on a glass of Jameson.
Exactly. Exactly.
You start doing math in your head. That's called getting older.
Yeah. It's called learning the value of a dollar, I swear.
Yeah, that's a thing, though. It's important to go out, though. We have to go out from time to time.
We do. So last time we went out for coffee, you said you were doing sound and lighting for theater or something, I believe?
It's running video, audio, and lighting for
That's AV stuff.
Live shows and special events. So yeah, a bit of an AV background. That's how I knew how to set up any sort of Twitch thing or podcast, is I've got enough of that background to help myself out, get started in that. Went to film school, have a screenwriting degree.
Or do you travel and...
Yeah, when I got out of college, I did the LA thing. I did PA work for a little bit. That's
always fun and enticing.
Hard days, huh?
Until you deal with the extras in the background. And it's like, oh.
Yeah. So I worked for X Factor. You remember that show?
Yes.
And I got the gig. It's so funny how LA works because, you just have to know the right people and all of a sudden you find yourself in a job. Mm-hmm. So I just knew somebody I went to college with had gotten a job as like a producer somewhere. And he was like, oh, you want PA work? And I was like, sure. There was like a 10-minute delay. And then he messaged me back. Okay, Friday through Sunday. We'll see you up here. Here's the address. And I was like, okay. And then, so I drove up there. I was the only San Diegan on the crew.
And they're always amazed that you came from San Diego, too. It's like, oh my God, you drove from San Diego? Wow, I would never do that.
They always say that. I don't actually think the drive's that bad. As long as there's a learning moment for everybody. Waze, you know that app?
Yes.
Okay.
Love-hate relationship.
Love-hate relationship. The good thing about Waze, you can plan a trip on it. And you can tell it, like, I'm going to this address and say plan to leave later. And it'll show you the traffic.
Oh.
And it'll tell you what time you should leave. And you can see how long it's going to take you depending on what time you leave.
I think Google Maps has that now.
Does it?
I think it does.
That is the best way to travel to LA.
Really?
To check those maps, to see the traffic patterns for those hours.
I need to try that. I have to go to LA Monday night at like 6 o'clock.
I drive to LA all the time, and I haven't taken more than 2 hours to get there in 6 months since I've started using it. But yeah, so I would go up there and work 3 days a week and crash on some other college friend's couch. And it's miserable because it was a really long day, over 12 hours. And then I'd have to drive in traffic to a friend's house to sleep for 2 hours, to have to wake up early, to drive back in traffic to the venue where we were doing I was like the cattle call auditions.
Oh, I hate those so much.
Have you done those?
I hate those so much.
Have you done any for the big shows?
No, I did cattle call auditions for LA Fashion Week, and I just hate because they don't tell you it's a cattle call.
Really?
But then you could totally figure out by the time how they respond to you. Normally with an audition, like, okay, your time's at like 3:10, or just a very specific time.
Yeah.
But with these cattle calls, oh yeah, we'll be here from 12 to 6.
Oh yeah, that means we're seeing 8 billion people.
That means 1,000 people are going to be there, and you have to wait a couple hours in line. It's like, no thanks.
Yeah, and I never realized how kind of miserable that was for people until I worked on that. But the crazy thing about it was, so I'm real tired, and I did 3 days up there of just getting 2 hours of sleep. And then I was in charge of sending the people into the auditions with, it's not for the main panel of judges yet. This is one where they're going through like some producers and like random people that are pre-screening them before they get to the judges. And you send these people in there and you can fully hear their audition. You can hear them singing. And some people were amazing and got through. And some people were okay. And they let some of those through, but mostly they didn't go through very much.
If you're a maybe, that's a no in LA.
Right. And then there were people that went in there and they were really not good at it. not singers. And I think some of them were joking, and I think some of them were just being there and trying to be awful so that they could get on the show. And then some of them were not good and probably didn't know it. And that was upsetting because those people went in there and then you hear the judges being like, okay, we're sending you through. And then they come out of the curtain and they're elated. And I heard their audition and I know it wasn't good. And they put them through. Why? Because that's how we get the first part of the show where some of those people are terrible in front of the judges.
People love that. And
it's funny when you watch it on TV, and it felt not funny being there and seeing how excited they were.
Because you empathize. You know that they're being duped.
Yeah. And you're sitting there like half smiling at them like congratulations. Like you don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's like, congrats. I'm not going to get to know you because there's no point.
So that part was a little bit uncomfortable. Auditions are weird, though.
They are weird.
Tell me the best audition you've ever gone on and the worst audition.
It's funny with me. I have this running joke with my friends that every audition I go to, I always have to take my shirt off. It's a running joke because it's true.
For acting?
Yes, acting, modeling, you name it. Like, even if it's like acting and doesn't require like a shirtless scene, somehow my shirt always ends up coming off because they're like, oh, hey, take your shirt off and do it this way. And it's like, okay.
And so they just are testing the waters? What is that?
Probably.
What's the reason?
Probably what it is.
Are they taking advantage of you?
Well, I'm not part of the Me Too union, the movement yet, so.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Just a few more auditions.
There was this one time, but I guess I'm being typecast, but it's better to be typecast than not cast.
Okay, I guess that would be the theory, right?
Yeah.
So what is your fitness process now? What do you do? What is your workout? How did you learn what to do?
I consider myself a nutrition supplement nerd. It always fascinates me how you can change your body just by what you eat alone. So
abs are made in the kitchen?
Abs are made in the kitchen. It's 100% true. It's 80% diet, 20% work. Originally, I got all my information just from reading, kind of self-taught, really. The same with supplements, but I got into bodybuilding when I was younger. I wanted to be a bodybuilder, not anymore. But that's still the same principle that I follow. So I'll do like a one body part a day, and eat high protein, and I'm eating more carbohydrates now, and I'm actually getting leaner. But it's more fiber carbs, so it's not just like sugar, candy, whatever. It's stuff that's beneficial. I take psyllium husk every day. Mm-hmm. That's really good. That's soluble fiber right there.
There are so many different methods.
There really is.
And it feels like people are trying to find the thing that is quick and easy. And how do I not work out? How do I not?
I have the easiest method for you where you don't have to count calories, carbs, or anything like that.
Go.
If you can pronounce what's on the label, you can eat it.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Real food. It's that simple, really. I mean, don't eat the processed crap there.
Yeah, because your body's like, what's that? I don't know how to process it.
What's this processed fake crap? Mm-hmm. Eat real food.
Yeah, that's what I try to do most of the time now.
It's good.
It's interesting how you'll talk to people and they'll say, I can't do that. Like, I crave all this other food. I crave this and that. If you force yourself to eat the right things, just eat real food,
you wouldn't crave it.
Your body retrains itself to crave that stuff again. It's just that you have to be the one in charge of what you put in your mouth.
It's funny. I crave oatmeal every day. And I'm not talking like, the sugar packet, cinnamon, apple oatmeal that takes like 30 seconds to microwave. Legit oatmeal where you got to add the water and cook it and add your own stuff. Like I'll add, I used to add honey to it, but now I'm adding stevia because, a little less sugar in it. And blueberries and some walnuts.
The food thing scares me a little bit. It's a bummer that we have to pay more money to eat healthier food because that's something that should be a staple for everybody to have access to. Should be.
So that's why sometimes I feel like I was born at the wrong time.
You feel like an old soul?
I feel like I should. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I know. I'm an ancient soul. I've actually had this psychic. It's like,
dude, tell me about your psychic trip. Let's go.
I've had a few psychic trips.
I didn't know you were that person. Okay.
I am that person.
I don't know much about you. Go ahead.
I've always felt deep down that I'm an old soul, like always from like sword and sandal days, like ancient times.
Oh.
And I've had this one psychic tell me, like, I didn't even tell them anything about me being an old soul. And they're like, you're from the Viking era.
And you were like, dope, tell me more.
I know, exactly. Tell me more. But they
I like you. Go ahead.
Yeah. They didn't tell me more, but...
They didn't tell
me
We
more.
don't remember exactly, but we can tell you from that sound.
But I've always just felt, extremely gravitated that I've, been from that era. And they've told me that. Growing up, my mom's told me that you're an old soul. And I've had other people, strangers on the street, tell me that I'm an old soul. And so I guess I'm an old soul.
Yeah, and it's almost like, God, I'm trying to find the right word for it. I hear that too sometimes, since I was young too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like a seriousness almost.
Yeah.
From a very young age. You're like a tiny bit more austere, or maybe a little bit more aware.
More aware, more... I've always hung out with older people in my life, even, at a young age, and, more maturity, in a natural sense. Obviously, we don't go out and party.
Right, yeah.
Like most people our age.
Well, I don't know. I'm getting up there now, but...
Yeah.
Getting up there now. Where can people find you if they want to know more about you? If they want to see your romance novels, we're going to need to know the titles of those.
I put all my stuff on my Instagram.
Which is?
Colton Reiswitz.
Good. I'm glad you said your name, because I'm going to have to repeat that when I...
Yeah, a lot of people butcher my last name. Just think...
Reiswitz? I would have said Reiswitz.
Just think rise, like you're rising, and then wits. Like, hey, that guy's got wits.
Perfect.
Yes. So nothing at the moment, but with this industry, everything's so last minute.
Yeah.
So I'm actually, Monday night, I'm actually going to a pre-Oscar party to where I'm hoping I can, meet some new connections. So it's a red carpet event. A bunch of celebrities going there, apparently.
Fun.
And then supposedly going to the Oscars.
Stop.
And then Elton John's after party afterwards. So I'm like...
You better be Snapchatting or something.
I don't have Snapchat, but I have Instagram, so...
Okay, Instagram story it.
I will try to Instagram this stuff. So, but I'm like, holy cow, this is like a once-in-a-lifetime event. This is amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And just, life's funny because I was never planning on this thing. And how I'm going is from the guy who invited me. I met him at a fashion show. I was like, oh, hey, you seem a cool dude. I'm like, oh, you're a cool dude too. And let's hang out. And he's got all these connections. So
that's why we have to go out sometimes.
That's why. Yeah. Well, I didn't
every
actually
now and
go
again,
out.
You're like, hey, that's a cool dude.
I didn't go out. That was for work.
Yeah, that helps.
That was fate. Maybe. I don't know what he wants out of it, though. So
you never know. But hey, you're going to an Oscar party.
Going to an Oscar party.
That's
and
awesome.
The Oscars.
I love it. Good talking to you.
Likewise.
Thank you.
This was fun.
That's it for this one, you guys. Make sure to follow me on the socials at Courtney Diamond for updates, and head over to CourtneyDiamond.com to check out the blog. And if you love video games like I do, I'm live streaming them on Twitch these days. Find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Courtney Diamond. And like always, if you've enjoyed this episode, subscribe and maybe leave a nice rating or comment. I would very much appreciate it. And like always, if you've enjoyed this episode, subscribe and maybe leave a nice rating or comment on iTunes. I would very much appreciate it. Hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.